Beyond the Waves is a Hail Hail Media production. It may contain sweary words and adult situations may be discussed. If you're in the company of underage Tims, turn off the show now and listen back later. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, email us at beyondthewaves67@gmail.com. You can also reach us on Twitter at BTW Celtic Show, or check us out on Facebook and join our group at Beyond the Waves. Hail, hail, and keep the faith. Welcome to the Beyond the Waves Celtic Football Show. My name is Graham Wilson. And if you're keeping track at home, I'm the one that said just grab him the biscuits. Joining us as always from Perth Amboy, New Jersey, it is the Rev. Hail, Rev.
How are you?
I am not too shabby. This is, well, first off, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
And Happy New Year to you. And Happy New Year to everyone. Hope everyone had a wonderful festive period and enjoyed maybe some time off, or maybe opening gifts, or maybe unfurling some flags, as one does. We all know what sort of cachet those flags carry, Rev.
No comment.
You should comment. I'm sure you have a lot to say about it, being so involved in the hooligan element here in America, where supporting your club is not a crime based on purely demographic bias. Well, anyway, we'll get into all of that, but wanted to first off say just a brief comment about Phil O'Donnell. It's been it's hard to believe it's been 6 years now since he passed away. So certainly want to say rest in peace, Phil O'Donnell, and our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and just everybody that's been affected within the Celtic and the Motherwell community. Obviously Phil O'Donnell, a great man and a great Tim, so crucial to that team that stopped the 10 in a row. We opened with Forever in Blue Jeans, which many will remember from Paul Arkin's great book, Wim's Tims. It documented Phil O'Donnell and his propensity and inclination to sing. And, they sang. That was one of the key songs that, he was singing a lot. And that run into stopping the 10 back in 1998 and really, circling the wagons and getting some of the newer players on that team unified and aware of just what it meant. So a great man, truly missed, and we're thinking about him today. But we have a lot to talk about, Rev. Had a couple games, one midweek game away to St. Johnson. There was a bit of trepidation about whether or not supporters would be allowed to carry in flags. And then it was said that it was allowed to happen with the flags. And then it said it wasn't allowed to happen with the flags. And then Roddy Hawthorne decided he was going to call Inverness.
What a swell guy that guy is.
I sometimes with these gadgets, the handhelds and everything, your contacts get mixed up. Instead of Peter McDermott, he thought he was calling, Peter McCauley. He thought it was the other guy up in Inverness with the name Peter as well. So, look, Ronnie Hawthorne has a lot of Peter in his life. There's just so much Peter that Ronnie can deal with in his life before it just becomes overwhelming. And he starts calling the wrong person, Ronnie, scale back the Peter, okay? Take a step back from the Peter. But Celtic going away to St. Johnson, never an easy place to play. I mean, let's be honest, this time of year, any road game, especially going up into the Highlands, and Paulie would consider even Perth to be Chukterland, but we'll stay away from that one. Really a soulless, in my opinion, performance midweek against St. Johnson, apart from just an absolutely phenomenal goal and performance, a continued just fantastic display from Virgil van Dijk. It's really going to be everything that we can possibly do to keep him around past this season. I think that he's getting a lot of attention from teams abroad, and the money that may come in for him may be too much to resist for this board. But again, I just felt like from a mental standpoint, the team midweek against St. Johnson just was not focused. Maybe they were hungover. I think Joe Ledley maybe had too much Christmas beer with his missus, start sending out all sorts of tweets with wigs and Corona and this, that, and the other. And then two days later, they have to go to Perth, and a bit of distraction was certainly exemplified in that. We did get the result, but you can't help but walk away from performances like that thinking, we really dodged a bullet. And then to follow that up with a performance like today, where, in my opinion, Joe Ledley probably had two of his worst performances in a Celtic jersey these past two games, and it's really worrying. I mean, obviously, let's be honest, Joe Ledley is gone. Okay, you can say, oh, nothing's been confirmed. We don't really know exactly what's going on. Joe Ledley is gone. Okay, if he was interested in staying with Celtic, he would have already signed a deal. There's no way that we're going to raise the amount of money that he's getting paid just now, especially considering the fact that he's our highest paid player. I think that we have some nice replacements that we've brought in for him, specifically Nir Batan, who continues to impress me. It was quite impressive against St. Johnstone, in my opinion. Always has his head up and looking up the park. Most importantly, he's always looking to drive and get the ball up to the forward players. He's not afraid to slide a pass through, and he can wait a pass. I mean, it's very impressive, the sort of composure and skill that he has, especially in tight places. I mean, he's getting much better at dealing with the sort of pressure that he's going to face here in Scotland. And having, making quick decisions, having a player picked out where he's going with the ball already, which is, in my opinion, a massive departure from Joe Ledley, who, his tendency, as was exemplified today, is to seek out Izagiri for a sideways pass or to pass it back to the center halves. And that obviously is always going to cut off any sort of momentum, any sort of tempo that we have, especially in light of the fact that, it was called out as a bad pitch today. I didn't really think that it was all that bad, to be honest. I mean, comparatively speaking to the pitches that we would find at Inverness in years past, I didn't think it was bad. I just thought that there was just a complete lack of execution. Bad pitches don't affect players and how they weight passes. It may have a bit of an effect on their first touch, but these are professional football players. Amateur players, primary school players, lower division players, they can deal with this. They figure out ways to deal with bad pitches. If these are professionals on huge wages, certainly they should be further along in dealing with that, in my opinion. Do they need every pitch to be perfectly manicured in order to have a first touch that will have them be able to control the ball and not have it taken off of them? I just thought that, once again, we dodged a bullet. We were lucky to get away with 3 points today. Fantastic finish from Chris Commons, who really, in my opinion, is the only player on this team. I guess we need to start considering him a striker because none of the strikers that we have can find the back of the goal. Anthony Stokes, once again, there have been games throughout this season where he's come in and he's done some good work in terms of creating, in terms of setting up play. But he has this tendency to drift wide, which I fully do not understand. And to repeatedly find himself offside is inexcusable, especially when you're drifting wide like that and you're not trying to beat a man off the line. That's just inattention. That's just lack of focus. And you could see that throughout the team. The only two players really maybe three players that I would give pass marks to would be Van Dijk, once again. The only player really showing any sense of urgency is Izagiri, who I think is just going from strength to strength. He's just getting better every week. And Chris Commons for his finish. But Samaras, I sincerely hope we are not trying to re-sign him. The rumors behind the Samaras dealing at this point is that we're offering him a 2-year contract, which is with a bit lower of a wage proposal. So to take a wage cut for only a 2-year deal, I think that Sammy's finding that to be unacceptable from his point. And I see where he's coming from with that. But, And Celtic, to their end, if they really want to keep him, to ask him to take a wage cut for all of the praise and the faith that Neil Lennon puts in him, I think that it's a bit disingenuous at best. It's certainly inconsistent. And me personally, I think that it was the right thing to do from the board's perspective. I think that we really don't see a place for him going forward. We want to be looking to get younger, not older. And Sammy's soon to be on the wrong side of 30, and his production seems to be on the downturn. So, in my opinion, this fall he really hasn't earned an increase in wages and an improved contract. So it's clear that he is gone as well, unless he's going to accept this reduced contract, which I sincerely hope he doesn't. I don't see him fitting in at the moment. I think that the performances and the results as of late really stand behind that. Once again today, he created the goal 3 minutes in, and then after that, it's just like it was like he just switched off. Ball's coming through the air. He's 6'4", and he's getting beaten by Andrew Shinnie, who's a foot shorter than him. Sammy can't even be bothered to jump. That for me, that's just unacceptable. In my opinion, Ledley and Samros are two players who are playing right now just not to get injured, in my opinion. And I think that, the only rationale that I have for Neil Lennon playing Joe Ledley over Nir Batan, especially in the light of the fact that we say that we're setting up the team now and preparing for that July run of qualifiers. Well, if that's certainly the case, why are we persisting with players who are more than likely not going to be with the team then? I think he's, the only rationale that I can see is that, perhaps Neil Lennon wants to put them both in the shop window, but they're certainly doing themselves no favors with that. And to complicate matters, Malky Mackay obviously was unceremoniously sacked at Cardiff. So what does that mean for Joe Ledley's prospects of joining the Premiership, joining the Charles Barkley's Premier League? It's certainly up in the air at this point, especially considering their chairman Mao Zedong seems not willing to spend any money. He didn't want to support Malky Mackay. I can't see him, throwing a bucket load of money to support a new manager that comes in, whoever that may be. So lots to cover. We have a big trip coming up in Philly in several weeks, and a lot of sort of Philly themed topics to go over today. But what were your thoughts on the game today and the midweek game as well, Rev? Am I being unfair in my assessment?
Maybe a little harsh. Not really. I guess, like you said, the game wasn't much to be desired. Today was a snooze fest after the third minute. Midweek game, maybe a little bit better. But, it's funny you brought that up about, the quality of the pitch today. And I, made a point thinking of that, why is this game dragging like this? And, I'm looking, it's a sunny day. There's no snow on the ground. It's not raining. There's no reason for the pitch to be crap. And like you said, it would affect, probably at best, first touch here, there.
But the consistency of the inattention, just giving away the ball cheaply, to me.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, that's what I was gonna say. It was a hangover from vacation or whatever. Just aside from 2-3 players, nobody's head was in the game for whatever reason.
I think that there's just not enough of a sense of urgency being placed on these players who are being played week after week, without any sort of accountability. And, Samros is one that I can point to. Certainly Ledley looks like he's disinterested at best. Anthony Stokes, to me, has let me get your thoughts on Stokesy, because we've been fans of Stokesy in the past, but I'm starting to have my doubts. I'm starting to have my fears. It seems as though he's a player that's playing without any confidence, and he's confused. He doesn't know quite what to do, but he really you can see that he wants to play well. He's frustrated, but he's caught between two minds a lot of times, and I think that's limiting him.
Definitely. Good point. I was going to say I don't want to get on his case because I think he wants to you could see there's the desire there in the man, and maybe he's just being up and down, and how long has it been since he scored a goal? A bit, right?
A couple months, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure he's just frustrated. I mean, that was him yelling, pass the ball and stuff, and you can see, read his body language. He was not at all, happy and, like you said, confident. So, would I say he's just, I guess I'd say maybe he's more lost than he's doesn't care, because you can tell he wants it. Maybe that's the result of not having a decent strike partner.
Well, that's definitely for sure. I mean, we've seen, his sort of regression since Hooper's left, and his best days in a Celtic jersey were playing alongside Gary Hooper in that lopsided 4-4-2 where they could link up together. Not just him creating chances for Hooper, but him playing off of Hooper and taking advantage and taking his chances when he got them. Now, I think that he feels a lot of the responsibility on his shoulders for scoring the goals, because it's clear to everybody that Pukki isn't going to be the replacement for Hooper, that Neil Lennon presented him to be back in August. So I think Anthony Stokes is taking a lot of that responsibility, and he's trying too hard, But consistently, you see him drift out wide left, which is where Sammy's supposed to be. So you have this congestion out there. Forrest, in my opinion, should be out right. He tends to drift more centrally because he wants to get closer to the ball and present himself. But that's where Commons is. So everything just gets congested. We lose our shape. I mean, consistently throughout the first half. I'm looking at it thinking there's loads of space down that right-hand side. Just switch it. But all the traffic was going up the left. It became predictable. And, it just makes it far too easy for an inferior side like Inverness Cali to defend against. When we don't have any sort of creativity or ideas in building up, and nobody seems to have the courage to slide a pass through for an advancing runner. And when as a striker, when you have that sort of situation, you tend to you drop your head, you get frustrated, and you get static. There was no movement up top, and that's something. I mean, shame on Stokesy and shame on Commons and to a certain extent Forrest as well for doing that. You need to constantly be moving and present yourself, make yourself available for those through balls, for those balls whipped into the box, and consistently we just don't have it. There's a confusion, there's a lack of direction, in my opinion, and it comes down to the manager. At its root level, in my opinion.
Because, excuse me, I'd also say, we don't, you might have some complaints or some reservations about Baldy. He's too young, he's inexperienced. He may not even be a good player. Whatever anyone's particular thoughts on him are, you've got a player pretty much chomping at the bits to get some playing time.
Absolutely.
And why Pookie, starts over him. I don't see why you just don't throw him on for, start him 2-3 games in a row and just see what happens. Even if you have to take him off, 50, 60 minutes. Well, we're not going to see a sub that early, but even if you have to take him off and put Pookie back on, but give him a couple games in a row and see what he's got, see what form he can put together.
Well, especially in light of the fact when you sub him on for these 10-minute stints and he still scores anyway. Right. I mean, he must be the worst trainer ever. Him at training. He must be. Maybe he's doing gravity bongs or something. I don't know.
I with one tweet I saw this morning that had me cracking up was, the whole Ibrahimovic wants to come to Celtic. Well, good luck getting time behind Pookie. You're not going to start in front of him.
I know. I'm glad you brought that up. I did have that marked down. Lovely quote this morning from Zlatan Ibrahimovic talking about wanting to finish his career at Celtic and praising the fans obviously and the influence that Henrik Larsson had on him, being of Swedish stock and hearing about Celtic and understanding exactly why Henrik Larsson spent so much time at Celtic. His desire would be to finish his career. So we can look forward to perhaps in 2024, 2025, Zlatan Ibrahimovic pulling a Roy Keane and maybe spending 6 months with Celtic. I don't see that happening anytime before then, considering just the name alone would likely price him out of any sort of market that we would be in. Unless we were to move to some bigger league, maybe the Charles Barkley's Premier League. Who knows? Maybe the gnarly Barkley's Premier League.
Unless they discover some oil reserves, in the East End. Well, I don't see that happening anytime soon.
If that, listen, let's be honest. If that were truly the case, we have enough Tories on the board at Celtic where that would certainly be privatized. And listen, it's a contest to see who can have the most heated driveways. Let's be honest. Who can be bothered with driving a car when you can have a helicopter, bring you to Celtic Park and, we'll have a new helipad built, and extra Xbox games. So, it's an interesting one. I always had a soft spot for Ibrahimovic from way back, when he played at Inter with that slower build up and having time on the ball. Oh, what a player. What he could do with the ball was truly phenomenal. Everything went through him in that first year that Mourinho was at Inter. It was just a sight to see. I kind of lost a bit of endearment, I guess, for him when he went to Barcelona and made a complete ass of himself. And he's gotten, let's be honest, he's gotten a bit self-aggrandizing since then, talking about Zlatan-ness, referring to himself in the third person, talking about not getting his wife a Valentine's Day present, and she has Zlatan. What an absolute nutter. When you think about the contrast, I mean, he brings up Henrik Larsson. You can't think of any sort of personality that would be further from Henrik Larsson than Zlatan. But who knows? Who knows what he's like behind closed doors? I mean, certainly his reaction to very nearly kissing Gerard Piqué on the lips a few years ago, that certainly got a rise out of him. No pun intended. But anyway, back on the Celtic.
I wanted to say about Sammy before. It's like, I think he's got his head turned. He wants to go hang out with Deco and,
is he on his way
in cold Toronto?
Is he on his way to Toronto? I don't know. I mean, if he's struggling with these lunchtime kickoffs and the cold that is Inverness blowing off.
It would be Toronto's MO to get another donkey and not make the playoffs again.
Yes. A little MLS banter. Okay.
No, I mean seriously, that's how they operate. Unfortunately for them, when Darren O'Day went there, I thought that was cool, but he was still at least young and had a bit of player in him. Sammy, I don't know. Especially if they put him up top as a striker, he'll be totally ineffective.
Yeah, who knows what is going to happen with Sammy? I don't know how Toronto can match the wages that Sammy's currently on. It's probably close to $1 million. You'd have to figure, and let's be honest, the MLS doesn't pay out wages like that or salaries as they refer to it over here. I believe Landon Donovan's only about $1.5 million, $2 million. It'll be interesting to see. I probably see Sammy going to maybe one of the Italian teams, another one of the continental teams. The French league, I think, would suit Sammy quite well. Spain, I think, would be a good destination, but it might even wind up in Hull. He did make some comments this past week talking about, if he were to move, he wants to move to a place where he's going to have a chance to win trophies, and that's a big part of why he stayed at Celtic for so long. But he needs a new challenge, so certainly going to Hull is not going to do anything to further his desire to win silverware, medals, etc. But it's going to be an interesting transfer window, Rev. We're getting into the time when serious questions need to be answered. And I think that these questions have been raised by, quite frankly, a poor summer transfer window where really the only player that we brought in of substance, I guess that's a bit unfair. Virgil van Dijk has been just an absolute revelation. After a bit of a shaky start, he missed the better part of the first month that he was with Celtic with an injury and certainly didn't put in his best performance. I'm sure that he would agree with that against Karagandhi over in Kazakhstan. But he's just gone from strength to strength. He's become really our most important player and our best player as the season has progressed. We would seriously be in big trouble if we didn't have him. And the level of professionalism, preparation, and urgency that he plays with every single week is something that, in my opinion, really needs to resonate with throughout the rest of the team. And I can only hope that he becomes a more vocal presence throughout the team. Not to take anything away from Scott Brown. Listen, my feelings on Scott Brown have been well documented, but there were times, and today is a good example, where there was a malaise throughout the team, and you just don't see Scott Brown, taking the game by the scruff of the neck and really willing the rest of the team on. Yeah, and I think that that's the type of mentality, the type of makeup that Virgil van Dijk has. I like having a center half as a captain. I like the fact that he can see the entire pitch. He is an outfield player. Oftentimes there is that debate about whether or not to give the goalkeeper the armband. I'm not a big fan of that, but having a center half and not just a center half that's going to stand back and be a big body and a presence, but also a center half that can get forward. A lot of times Van Dijk plays as a deep lying holding midfielder, that sort of comes out of the defense, and that can cause a lot of problems for opposing defenses, especially if they have two up top and they don't drop a striker back to mark him, as we saw this past Wednesday against St. Johnson. There's really no way that they can deal with him. He's so good with the ball at his feet. I think that's so underrated about him, and I can certainly see a future for him with the armband. I would like to see it. Anyway, many things that this manager is starting to do is, quite frankly, bewildering to me. But we'll have to see. The usual targets for this January window coming up. Finn Bogason, everybody is all worked up in a lather about him. Once again, Neil Lennon jetted off to the Eredivisie, to Holland, to see an Alkmaar versus Haringveen game, and I just butchered the pronunciation of both of them. I really don't give a shit, to be honest. Where Aron Johansson, who, Rev, you're probably not as familiar with him, considering you don't follow or you don't support the U.S. team, but a U.S. striker who is really in the peak of his development, in my opinion. I mean, he's got a tremendous upside, very good with the ball at his feet. In my opinion, maybe needs a little bit of space, and that might hinder him if he does come to Scotland. But certainly when he does get that space and with the ball at his feet, he knows where the back of the net is, and he can score a lot of different ways. He's good in the air. He's 2-footed, which is obviously something that's wonderful to see. I don't think he's quite as clinical and quite as much of a poacher as Finn Bogason is, but as media reports have outlaid this in this past week, it seems as though Finn Bogason is meant for a transfer over to Ajax, which after seeing Ajax quite a few times over the autumn, I think that's really the only piece that Ajax are missing. I mean, I think once they get Finn Bogason in, and if they can keep that core nucleus that they have, Ajax is going to be a very formidable side, especially as they make their run through the Junior Champions League. So now calling in, let's see how the connection. Oh, it's crystal clear. No, it's not. I spoke too soon. But listen, in fairness, he is calling from the other side of the world. It's Dr. J. Oh my God! I think he's hanging 10. I think he's off on one of those longboards with a pina colada on one of those helmet straw deals.
Nice.
Dr. J, are you there?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. It's starting to clear up a bit. Give us a sense. Paint a picture for us. Give us a sense for the scene where you are just now, sir. You're in Maui?
I am in Maui, Kanapale.
Mala Hiki Liki Laka. I just butchered that pronunciation as well. It's Mana Haliki Liki Laka. That's Merry Christmas in the Hawaiian language, I believe.
Okay, if you say so.
Yes. Thanks for backing me up there.
No problem.
What is the scene there for you, sir?
I am sitting on my balcony.
Lovely.
At the Westin, looking at the Pacific.
Lovely.
My lovely bride is in the bed, still wondering why I was up at 2:30 in the morning watching soccer on my computer.
She will learn quickly. Once she gets up and she
already knows.
Yeah, exactly. Once she gets up and she gets her bearings, she'll be like, "Oh yeah, it's that Celtic BS again."
Then she's like, "Are you going outside to call Graham again?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "You're a dork." I'm like, "I love you."
We love her too. So congratulations on your nuptials and what a fantastic environment.
Interesting, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yes. Now kudos to you for waking up in the middle of the night. So many people woke up in the middle of the night to drive up to Inverness and freeze with their flags, or maybe without, or who even knows what the situation is. You got up at 2:30 in the morning there in Maui. Congratulations on your nuptials, by the way. What did you make of this performance? And then, we talked a little bit in midweek about that St. Johnson game. I made my feelings pretty widely known. What's your take on these past couple of games? Because for me, the only difference between these games, I think that we were fortunate. Let's be honest. And I think the difference between these games and, say, games that we're comparing to last season where we lost those games wasn't because we fought or we were resilient or we grinded it out. We were just lucky. What are your thoughts?
Well, first off, I think Forster is a master of concentration. Nothing for most of the game, and then make the four guys it.
Oof, that connection is rubbish.
I thought he played relatively well today.
Doc, let me try and call you right back because this connection is brutal. I'll call you right back.
All right, I'll call you back.
We need to get the professor to make some telephones for Gilligan.
Gilligan, tell that professor to get that damn... Tell the skipper to get us off this damn island. I just went off on a 3-hour tour.
That's Thurston Howell, for anybody that's wondering. Let's try this again.
Yes. I woke up at 2:30 a.m. to watch the Celtic game, and it was absolute pish.
Oh, here he's sailing in. He caught a wave.
There you go.
There he is.
No, I was saying Forster is a million times.
Oof.
His
This ain't gonna work.
concentration's getting a million times better than it has been.
Yeah, I mean,
And his ability to concentrate when the ball is around him for long periods of time.
Oh. Yeah, this is brutal. Did we lose him? I think we might have lost him.
I'm right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the connection
No!
is the connection is absolutely brutal. It's going in and out.
But that was, to me, that was a big thing. Forster's the big thing. The other thing that's big for me was Sammy down the left side just clogs up everything.
Yeah, I agree. That was the impression that I got as well. So much of the traffic was going down the right side, and then you look over on the right, and there's oceans of space. It seems as though Forrest wants to drift more centrally, leaving that space open. You'd think Matthews is going to just charge in and fill that space, but that's a leap of faith. To leave that whole entire right flank exposed like that. He does need to play it safe to a certain extent. We do get a bit one-dimensional. I thought that the layout, and then the other thing that was especially concerning to me was it was clear 30 to 40 minutes into the game that the layout and the tactics weren't quite working, and no adjustments were made by the manager.
No, nothing. In fact, what killed me the most. What killed me the most today had nothing to do with the game. I mean, I was awake and people were talking a snooze fest. But what I really found interesting about it was the comments on Twitter about how you got to get rid of it. I'd sub 10 people off the park, or I do this. I'm sorry, but our back four and Brown today, I thought played phenomenal. And on top of that, the other part that I thought was really interesting was people talking about how 5-0, 7-0. Anyone remember those two games?
Well, yeah, I do remember. I remember Samaras wasn't anywhere near the park.
Neither was Mulgrew. He wasn't there either.
And what was the element that was so? What was the prevailing element that caused that tempo? Right. There was nothing in the middle of the park that was slowing things down, and to the point that you've made,
played that ball that ball really quick, really early, moved it really, really forward, and not only did that happen, but you didn't get clogging down the left or right side.
Exactly right. And you've made that point in the past, where Mulgrew slows things down in the middle of the park.
Oh, yeah, he does. He really does, and it's going to be tough for him to find a place. I mean, with Baton getting into that middle section, hopefully holding on a place with him and Brown, you get Forrest on the left side, and then Matthews and when he gets back loose down the right, Jesus Christ, that's a track meet.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what that is.
Exactly, and that will very quickly overcome any sort of issues with the pitch, that seemed to be the purveying element here. When you're making those backwards and sideways passes, it increases the danger with a bad pitch because you're so dependent on the first touch of a player and then their next move. If you give up possession to a team that's trying to play you on the break, in the middle of the park, you're putting a lot of pressure on your back line. Absolutely.
Yeah, those are the biggest things. For me, that's what I saw today. And I saw Sammy does not make a run for nobody. And I swear to you, if he stands there and gives up possession one more time and then throws his hands up in the air and looks around as if he's looking for God to come help him, I'm going to scream. Those guys, I don't know why he does that. I mean, he gives the ball away, doesn't try and get it back. It's 10 feet away from him, and he just stands there. He's like, oh, well, what happened?
Exactly, and that's really been the MO.
That's frustrating.
Exactly, that's been the MO for him throughout his entire Celtic career. Essentially, I mean, we moved him out to the left hand side. We reduced some of his necessity to track back. I think it hindered Izzy to a large extent.
That's exactly right. Because let me tell you something. If Izzy could actually cross the ball consistently really well, he'd be a $10 million player.
No question about it.
His ability to block people with his body or play the ball to get space in the corner by the flag on the offensive side of the ball is the offensive side of the pitch is absolutely just astonishing. But when he goes to give that last ball, it's crazy. I mean, he's not as bad as Cha was, but on the flip side, he's probably a 50-55% guy. The problem is that you bust his ass because Sammy isn't tracking back, and he's not making any runs. So you end up clogging that left side with 3 players, especially when Stokes is off his chain and he's out on the left side of the damn box.
Exactly.
Then you got 3 players in the corner, and that doesn't work. When we scored those goals, that wasn't taking place.
Exactly right.
And to your point, you actually you call that to you asked me what the big deal was. I said it was more Sammy. Holy shit! And the other part is when that happens. I mean, I don't give a shit if you have him Boguson up front. No, he's not going to score.
Well, he's not getting any service.
Exactly right. And if you and unfortunately for Stokesy, I think he's trying really, really hard. I think mentally he feels the heat, and I'm sure Lenny's put it on him. And I know I just have this feel every time you look at him and his head's down. I mean, he's looking at his watch, counting the minutes, and I know. He reads the papers too. He's got to, and he's got to be thinking about going. They're going to bring in 35 strikers. I'm going to find myself looking on the backside of this, especially with his international career finally getting back on track. He doesn't want to lose that. Yeah. And the part that kills me is when people are like, oh well, he doesn't look interested in playing today. Yeah.
Well, and you can see the frustration.
Professional doesn't look interested in playing.
You can see the frustration on his face when he gets back to the bench too. Nice. When he was subbed off, he's putting his jacket back on, and he's frustrated. You can tell this isn't a player that's chucked it or that isn't trying. I mean, he's genuinely trying to make an effort there, and it's just not coming off for him. And I think that there's sometimes when players need a boot up the ass, and there's other times when players need an arm around their shoulder, and they need to be done as many favors as possible to use an Andy Reidism to put the player in a position to be successful. And I don't think that Anthony Stokes is necessarily being put into positions. I don't think
that Commons is the right person to play up front with him either.
Well,
Commons isn't as fast as Hooper was, or as fast enough to be playing up top and to be able to play the 1-2 with him. I mean, he scored the goal today. Yeah, I'll give you that. But even still, I don't think that him and Commons are the perfect fit up front, because I don't think that Commons plays off the shoulder of the last defender like Hooper was, giving him the ability to find the space to mop up what Hooper didn't score.
Well, Commons,
where Stokes made all his money.
And the other element to Commons is that he drifts all over the place. So it's a lot of times unpredictable when you're making those runs. Yes. When you're playing on the break, it's unpredictable as to whether or not Commons is going to be on the end of those balls coming in. If Izzy does put it on target, oftentimes there's nobody in the box, and that's just because Commons has drifted. He's, to your point, he's not a striker. In the purest sense, even playing off the shoulder of a player leading the line when Stokes drifts wide. I mean, where are the answers coming from? And it just goes back to the lack of a purchase of, that tip of the spear striker, that poacher that we had in Gary Hooper and that we haven't replaced since. It's going to be imperative, in this January window, that we bring in a player that can do just that. Forget about these players that can create. We need somebody that can finish.
Well, here you go. Let's play it forward. You do that, and then you have Mulgrew coming back. You have Lustig coming back. And then maybe it is. Maybe you'd go ahead and you let Sammy and Ledley go for $1 million each or $500,000 each just before the window closes.
I think we could probably get a couple million each.
You're stuck in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. I think
what I'm saying is you're stuck in the middle if you don't do that, because Baton has played really, really well.
I agree.
And we're still early doors on him, but even still, I mean, if you want to play that pace that you want that showed that 5 and 7 goal thrashing, those two guys, with what you got coming back down the right side, they're just squeezed out, don't you think?
I think that Ledley and Samaras, we could probably get $2 million each for them, and that would go a long way to funding, one of these players that we need to bring in that's going to score the goals for us. I mean, if we're talking about building towards the January qualifiers, we need to bring that player in now, so that not waiting till the summer and purchasing that player then and trying to get them to bet in. Exactly, it's too late. We need to bring that player in January. So if we can pick up, listen, if we let Ledley and Samaras go, I mean, these are players that have already been proven we can do without. I mean, if Ledley and Samaras are out of the team, like let's say they get injured or something, we won't miss a beat. We have the players to replace them now. So there's a lot of froth on the side just now. We eliminate these two players, bring in something in terms of transfer fees for them, and bring in one player of quality. I think that would be a huge step forward for this side, not just for this season, but also for the qualification in the Champions League next season.
I'm with you there. I'm totally with you.
Listen, before we let you go, because I know you're on your honeymooning. My God, it's absolutely glorious. We can hear birds chirping in the background. You sound like one of those Doctor Who Daleks or whatever. But I can hear birds clear as day. You got like I think the
birds.
I think the parrot.
I had to go all the way to Hawaii for a decent connection.
Listen, we have a big weekend coming up in a few weeks in Philadelphia. What are your thoughts on that? It's going to be an absolutely phenomenal time there at the Plowboys CSC.
Well, I'm ready. I'm booked. Next, just hotel when I get back. I'll book that when I get back. But we get in Friday at 11, and we leave Sunday at 4. So we'll be there for that. And I'm ready. I'm ready to get up there and hang with the people. And I got just printed off 500 stickers. We'll bring it up there, ready to go ahead and
Philly will be ball deep.
Yeah, Philly be ball deep.
Are you, and you're
one thing, Graham. It's funny. The people on Twitter sometimes just make me laugh uncontrollably hard because between you and Yampy, it's you get into this. As everyone knows, me as owning my own business, it's one of those things that I understand financially. Some of the things. I mean, I have an understanding, or I have an entrepreneurial sense of the way business should be run, and I don't get too bent about the way Celtic does business. And between you and Scott, it is an absolute riot because there was one day Scott had said something about you're Lawwell's drinking buddy. And I said, oh yeah, we just hold hands and lay on the heated driveway and count. Because you guys count stars. I said, no, we just count the dollar signs on the balance sheet. And that joke goes back and forth, and I get a kick out of it. But the funniest thing the other day was I got a private message from somebody who said, do you really know Lawwell?
Twitter can be a very, very literal place sometimes.
I'm sorry.
Listen, put away. Listen, Rev, you hear this? He's on the Maui Wowie.
Yes.
Yes, he's my drinking buddy.
Fantastic stuff. Well, listen, give our best to Pedro. We think he's doing just a bang-up job, and keep it up.
Tell Rev he's listening.
Yeah, we're here.
No, that Peter Lawwell is listening, Rev. That's what he's talking about.
I'm a little behind. I'm sorry.
Apparently, Dr. J's not the only one on Maui Wowie.
No.
Listen,
there you go.
Listen, enjoy the rest of your trip. Thanks as always for calling in, and we'll catch up with you. As the run-in begins to Philly, and you're an Eagles fan for a day. Hopefully, once again, give us your prediction. The Eagles are going to be playing. Listen, it's going to be in the middle of the day there in Maui that you can watch the game. What are your predictions? Eagles, Cowboys.
The game starts at 8 a.m. So I'm up right now to go ahead get the kids up. Thankfully, at this Westin, there's a sports bar that opens at 7:30 for all the football games.
Seems reasonable.
So we're on our way over there in a little bit. We'll go watch the Eagles. We will root for the Eagles today.
The Eagles are on at 8:30 Eastern, so that would probably be like 2:30 in the afternoon for you.
No. Oh, the Eagles are on tonight? Or
yes, they flexed it. It's on at 8:30. Listen, Dr. J, here's the lineup, okay? Here's the lineup. Ravens, the Ravens and the Bengals are on at 1. You got to watch that game. That's huge. And then at 4 o'clock, you got the Packers and the Bears. Go Bears in that game. And then
forget the Giants game at
1
o'clock.
Yeah, forget that. It means nothing. And then you have 8:30. Eagles and Cowboys. 3 massive games. Everything is on the line.
Beautiful. Yeah, no one gets into the AFC without a help.
That's it.
It should be good.
That's it. Forget the beach. Sit in the sports bar and watch the football today.
Well, the good news is the sports bar is on the beach.
We hate you. Listen, enjoy the rest of your trip. Take lots of pictures, and we'll catch up with you in a few weeks in Philly.
Got it, boys. Take care.
All right. Thanks, pal.
Cheers.
I think we caught maybe 3/4 of that. But to his point, the connection in Maui was better than in South Carolina, so that tells you something. congratulations to Dr. J on getting married. This seems to be a theme here, Rev. Everybody's getting married. It's lovely. How's married life treating you? Since you won't expand on what I gave you there.
On what?
Oh my God, Rev.
What do you mean? No, what do you mean expand?
We're talking about getting married.
Yes.
You got married recently. I'm
Yes,
pretty
I did.
sure of it. I was there.
4 weeks ago.
And how is that treating you?
It's all right.
You really paint a picture there. Yampy can't call in soon enough. I think he makes a couple of very good points. Another aspect of this transfer window upcoming in January is going to be Forster. Lennon has made it clear that it's going to take a lot of money to take Forster away from us in this window. I don't think that we can necessarily resist any of the calls that are going to come in the summer, and certainly they will. Hopefully, what we can do is hold Forster, until we get through the qualifiers, similar to what Wilson did, and similar. I have the same hope with Van Dijk, that we can hold them until perhaps the end of August, ensuring that we get in the Champions League. But some of the real keys. I mean, we talk so much about getting the striker and bringing a striker in, but it's very possible that we could be losing, maybe one of the best keepers we've ever had in the next several months, as well as maybe one of the best center halves we've had, certainly in the past decade. So, in my opinion, it's maybe not equally as important, but it's certainly got to be a bit of emphasis on bringing in a quality center half, that can come in, that can get bedded down and be there in January, as well as a keeper. But now joining us from South Jersey, he's green and white all over, as I am. Not just from this morning, but also what's coming in the evening. We don't have any, I haven't come up with any new audio fanfare yet. I'm still up for any suggestions, but this will do in the meantime.
Score a touchdown, 1, 2, 3. Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch our Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles fly, on the road to victory. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
Now joining us is Yampy. Hello, Yampy.
Yo, what's up, G?
There he
what's
is.
Up, Rev?
There he is. Yampy, a huge day for us today. I mean, obviously we got the 3 points this morning. It wasn't a pretty picture to look at, but effective nonetheless, I suppose. We were a bit fortunate, but and certainly we have a huge game. I mean, think about it on the scale of, comparing it to world football and specifically Scottish football. This is the closest thing that we have to, the old Glasgow Derby as possible in America, wouldn't you say? Eagles, Cowboys?
Yeah, easily as close as you get. I mean, big time rivalry, Birds and the Boys. This goes back, we're talking, almost 40 plus years. Not as long as the old Glasgow Derby was, but again, in intensity, you can barely match it with any other rivalry in sport. And it's a big day today, man.
And so much on the line. The winner goes to the playoffs, and the loser goes to the golf course.
That's it. 2 teams enter, 1 team leaves, man. It's no joke.
That's it.
Whoever loses is off till next year.
That's it. All right. Well, listen, we're going to break that down, and we're going to get your predictions and analysis here in a minute. But first, Yampy, I gotta hand it to you. I gotta tip my cap. We talked to Paul Larkin last week about his audio book that's been released. You can find that at theasteriskyears.com. Many additions to that book, many contributions, myself included, and you as well. I was really impressed with your a bit that you added, your reading of the book. Tell us a little bit what that was like in terms of the process, because I thought that you came through quite well. With the audio book, my impression after listening to it is it really makes the words just leap off the page. It gives you more of a sense of experiencing it and really, getting the tone of what those words mean. I think you did an exceptional job with it. Tell us what that process was like for you.
Well, for me, it was like one of the big experiences of my life, and it sounds real goofy and everything, but you don't really get opportunities in life. It's like, you get like, they talk about 15 minutes of fame and everything. For me, it's more like about 15 seconds. And for me to talk about, just something involving things that happen to a club that I hold so dear to my heart and everything, it's just like, it was very special to me.
Yeah.
And Paul's such a great writer. I mean, it was just like, it was so easy for me to really get emotionally invested in what I was reading and talking about for
Definitely.
the audiobook. It was
Definitely.
just, the book was fantastic. I enjoyed doing my little 2 cents for the audio version. It was compelling, interesting. It's a great book. And I mean, and all the people that contributed with the audiobook, I bought it like in the first few seconds that it came out. I mean, I've enjoyed it, listening and hearing everybody's voices, and it's a great story, and it's an important story to not be forgotten. And for me, it'll always hold a special place in my heart.
Well, you did a fantastic job. I mean, you really did your segment justice. And, I mean, I know, speaking from experience, I mean, obviously we come on and we talk, just complete shite about, Celtic and whatever else on the podcast, but it's a completely different process reading a book. You have the words there. And like you said, I mean, you read it to yourself and, you grasp what the words mean and what that time must have been like, and you get the emotions going, but, you still have to read it off the page, and it's not so easy. I mean, for me, it took me a couple of hours just to, read my
when you
particular
do something
segment.
Like that, you want to give it its proper treatment.
Yeah.
This was a book written from the heart, from somebody that cared deeply about this material, and you don't want to half-ass it. You want to make sure that you give the best representation you can of your section, your excerpts that you're going to read. And I sat there and I played them back and I listened to them, and it's just like, I think I can do this better. I think I can say this better. It was really important to me. And maybe it looks like, micromanaging in hindsight, but I really enjoyed the process, and I was so blown away that Paul asked me to do even just, those few excerpts. It's really something that was, again, special.
Well, and you know what? Let's just throw it out there. Paul selected you for a very specific reason. He knew that you'd want to do it justice, and you do it with passion. And his faith in you was certainly verified and vindicated. By your reading with it. So, job well done with that. There's readings from many people. Of the book. And like I said, I mean, I don't know what your experience was like listening back to it, but, I mean, I've read the book itself a couple of times, and, when you hear it verbalized, oftentimes it takes on an added meaning or a separate meaning. So it's definitely worthwhile. Again, you can pick it up at the Asterisk Gears. I think it's £4.99. So, it's great to have with you, in the car, or, if you're out going for, a jog, or if you go to the gym, if you're into that shit. It's certainly a great supplement and a great piece. So, job well done there.
I just thought people were going to probably not even know who the heck I was without all the cursing and everything. So, like, who the fuck is that guy? Is that Scott?
Listen, let's not kid ourselves. You do your best work off the script. Fantastic. So, obviously, the past couple of games, in spite of the fact that, we did get these results, it wasn't something pretty. And in my opinion, the term that we throw out here in the States quite commonly is whistling past the graveyard. That's the impression that I have at this point. I think that we're content, and the manager feels as though we're grinding out results, but that's not the impression I'm getting. But just by watching this, I think that we're very fortunate. I think that there's a complete lack of focus. I don't know if it's down to fatigue or just a lack of interest after getting out of the Champions League, or lack of interest in knowing the fact that we have a 14-point lead with a game in hand. Maybe the Invincibles title or the undefeated record isn't enough of an incentive. But if that's the case, the manager needs to realize that and rotate the squad accordingly. Your thoughts?
I think I hear Lenny's quotes, post match and everything, and I kind of giggle a little. It's kind of, it really reeks of putting perfume on a pig. He sits there and it's like, oh, the pitch wasn't in great shape. Oh, we're having to grind out results. Oh, it's the holidays, this, it's that. And how about we stop making fucking excuses? We're all watching the same fucking match, man.
And these are professionals.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. These guys are getting paid top dollar. You got to get the fuck out there and perform, man. You got to play. You can't be an empty jersey for 90 minutes. Get the fuck out there and earn your money.
Yeah.
And with the exception Van Dijk, Commons, and Izzy, there were 8 fucking passengers today.
I agree.
And this is becoming a commonplace thing. And the first thing that the right-thinking man would do would be, fuck it, these guys don't want to play. Get them off the fucking pitch and put guys out there who want to do something. I got a bunch of young talent that we spent some good money on. Let's get them the fuck out there.
Well, and they got to be wound up like a spring, for all the time that Lenny, has kept them on the bench. I mean, they got to be itching and dying to get out there and show, the quality that they have. I mean, we've seen it over the past couple of weeks with Baton. When he's got his opportunities, I thought he was exceptional, midweek and through the last several games. Then he waits until the 88th minute to bring him on today. That's especially confusing to me, especially considering, let's be honest, Joe Ledley doesn't have a future with this side. You can make all the rationalization you want. He's not going to be with this club in July. He's just not.
The announcer said he was quietish today. I said he's been quietish all fucking year. I mean, not for nothing. He's got one foot out the damn door. So does Sammy. You can sit there and live in denial and call whatever the fuck you want. They're 1 foot out the door. That's why they got cheap contract offers. They didn't get shit in the way of offers, really, from the club. And it's the club's de facto kind of way of saying, you know what, we really want to replace you so you could just kind of move on out. But why the fuck are they still in the lineup then?
I mean, when you're talking about preparing for the July qualifiers and you want to get that team that's going to be in there, battling to get back into the Champions League group stages, together and get them to sort of congeal and have some synergy. Why do you leave players like Baton on the bench?
You got to know what the fuck you have. You got to know what you have. These guys are going to be playing in June and July, and it's like we're playing to get back in the big money games again. We want to go to the big money table. And you're not going to – every time you go 90-plus minutes with Baton, what's his name, Tajik, I think I'm saying that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and Baldy. I mean – every time you don't put them out here when these guys are empty fucking jerseys and just going through the motions and Sammy takes a stupid yellow card because he's frustrated or whatever the fuck you want to call it, what are we going to learn about these guys? What are we going to learn about them? They're not fucking blooded in a game that means something.
I don't know. And it's mind-boggling to me. And, listen, you can perceive us as being negative. Oh, we got 3 points and it's still not good enough. Well, I'm sorry. I mean, people coming out and saying, oh, we got the 3 points. It's a bad pitch. And that's all we can really ask for. On another day, without a bit of luck, we're not only are we dropping 2 points, we might be getting 0 points. I mean, think about what Van Dijk did for us. Van Dijk, we relied on our center half to bring the ball all the way up the park and score a wonder goal. I mean, is that what we're relying on? Does that fill you with any sort of confidence and comfort going into the new year? How long can that possibly last?
Just another 90 minutes plus of no strikers scoring goals.
I mean, it makes me nervous looking ahead, and these people that come out and say, oh, all you do is moan. I'm sorry. That's like the equivalent of being stuck in an elevator with somebody that shit themselves and saying, oh, well, at least we have oxygen.
Well, I said it's a great analogy. And it's like, you know what? The people that say someone like me might moan. Well, the reason you're saying that I moan is real simple, because you can't deny the fact that Sammy and Ledley look like dog shit today. So you got to go kind of like, stick it to another 10, because you can't defend the way they played today.
Listen,
obvious they suck.
If you're going to make the argument that Sammy and Ledley were put out today to be put in the shop window, I can't see the logic in it. I mean, I understand that could be a potential rationale, but we have this stupid tournament coming up in Turkey playing against some massive clubs. If you want to put a player in a shop window where all sorts of eyes are going to be on them, play them in that tournament and then sell them. Don't play them against Inverness, Caledonia, Thistle, at lunchtime. Nobody's going to watch that. And if they do and they see that, are they going to be impressed?
Nope. Not at all. I'm sure Lowell will use all the money to from that tournament to pay the employees a fair living wage, but that's just sarcasm speaking, I guess.
Well, maybe we can have Ronnie Hawthorne call, Motherwell, for our game coming up on Wednesday, and make sure that our supporters going to Fir Park on Wednesday, are going to be, well behaved, and maybe not bring scarves this time or something.
Good old drunk dialing Ronnie.
Yeah,
he's got one fucking job, and he even can't get the Rolodex straightened out.
He's got too much Peter in his life. That's what I'm telling you.
It's fucking just all of their focus is in all the wrong fucking places, man. The product on the pitch is shit. It's shit. It is shit. Call it what it is.
Listen, I'm disappointed, obviously, because of what we watched, what we sat through, and yes, the 3 points is great, but we want to see some improvement. We want to see some forward trajectory. We don't want to see just sort of scraping through and holding out, holding on for dear life for that 1-0. We want to see progress and some optimism going forward. And quite frankly, we don't have that right now. The trajectory is going all the wrong way. And I'm fearful that, once we come into, the next couple of months and we have cup ties, this sort of lethargy is going to carry through. There needs to be a sense of urgency. If I'm Neil Lennon, I'm pointing to Virgil van Dijk, and the sort of performances, the effort and the urgency that he's putting forth. And that's Scott Brown's job. Let's not kid ourselves. And I think he's coming up short with it.
Yeah, and there's another thing, too. Not for nothing. I was thinking about this earlier. Except for Commons, is there anybody in that midfield that, fucking impresses you? Seriously? I mean, they're all like, oh, Bruni this and that because of what he did against the Huns years ago and everything. But the fact of the fucking matter is he's not the most irreplaceable part in that midfield.
No, I would agree with that. I think that he does have his moments, and even more recent than, those games against the Huns from way back. I mean, I think that he's capable, but I think that, every so often, and it does tend to happen, and some of these away ties that really don't necessarily mean anything. I think that Scott Brown maybe gets too much of the context and that it doesn't really matter. He's going through and he's just trying to grind out a result, or, I just don't sense that same level of urgency from him on a consistent basis. He does rise to the occasion on big games, but it's some of these smaller games that I'm wanting more out of my Celtic captain.
And not just him. How about Stokesy? I mean, not for nothing. He's like, dear Lord, if like I said today, if he's a striker, I'm a fucking astronaut, dude. Seriously? Because he couldn't hit the fucking ocean if he fell out of a boat.
Ground control to Major Yomp.
He is he puts balls in the fucking car park. I mean, he missed one shot today. He had the whole fucking side of the net. He missed by a good 5 feet. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
I thought, and I thought he was trying to square it for a trailing runner, and there was nobody around. But it did look like he was actually trying for the goal. I think that he's lacking confidence right now, and he's trying to force it, and that's the absolute worst thing that a striker can do. A striker needs to be instinctive. A striker really can't overthink it. And this is what you see when strikers get into ruts.
Didn't he just sign like a 3-year deal not too long ago or something? Did I mishear that?
No, you heard it right.
I thought. And the timing on it is his game has basically fallen off a cliff since I think it was when he signed that deal. I mean, what the fuck, man? If you're going to sign, you got to be sure. If you're going to sign a guy to a 3-year deal, he better fucking produce on a consistent basis, man. Granted, he's had moments. Shakhtar Karagandhi, he was a fucking game changer in that game at Celtic Park. But there's other fucking times where he looks like a guy running with his shoelaces tied, man. He's off sides half the fucking time. He's kicking balls into the crowd. I mean, if I'm rooting for the dude, I'm not saying it's an effort thing with him. I think he's skill-wise not a fucking great striker. I don't think that's an unfair assessment.
I think at the moment, he's certainly lacking in a lot of ways, and I think that he just. I think there's he's evidence that there's a player in there. He's frustrated and he needs help and he's not getting it. Pairing Samaras, if you want to call it that, up top with Anthony Stokes, it's been evidenced time and again that it doesn't work. This type of performance, this type of effect and result has been documented over and over again. And yet we persist with it. While Balde rots away. And I mean, listen, that's our future. Balde is our future, like it or not. He's more of our future. He's more of our future than Samaras is. I think that the case can be made for that. Why not play him? Why not play Atajic? Atajic for me should be at the beginning of the line. It's a player that, for all intents and purposes, we brought through our own system. He's played in this system under the same sort of coaching tutelage for years and years. This is a player that we didn't even need to go out and bring from Schalke. And, let's not kid ourselves. The Schalke fans were laughing their asses off that we paid $100,000 for Pukki, let alone $2 million. He should be at the front of the line, not Pookie.
I can't imagine why Ataja can't get a game. I have no fucking logical reason why this kid can't get a fucking game.
The fear that I have is that Tony Watt has set a dangerous precedent here, where we brought a young player in who, obviously was immature and, maybe wasn't quite ready to handle all of the fanfare. And Neil Lennon, I'm fearful Neil Lennon might be hesitant to do the same thing with a young player. He might have a mentality now where he's going to try and bring these young players who have talent through a bit slower so as not quote unquote ruin them. And I think that that's a dangerous mindset, especially considering, we brought Victor Wanyama through when he was 19. We brought Adam Matthews through when they were 19. Every young player is different, and to cast that broad of a brush because of, whatever the situation was with Tony Watt, I think is it's dangerous and it's a big mistake.
Well, lo and behold, they're talking him back up like he's going to be coming back again.
Well, Neil Lennon did confirm that it's not going to happen in the winter window, And listen, there's a certain amount of things, there's a certain menu of things that need to be said about a player when they're out on loan, so as to not poison the well, if you will. And it seems to be following that, but I can't see. There are no examples of players going out on loan and then coming back and turning into superstars. Players going out on loan such as this, tend to be trying to put them on display so that another team notices them and wants to give them a few quid. Give us a few quid for him. I hope that's not the case. And certainly it's a unique circumstance with Tony Watt where he is so young. He does have so much talent. It's there for everybody to see. It's just a question. The ball is firmly in Tony Watt's court at this point. What is he going to do with it? Is he going to knuckle down? Is he going to build on the momentum that he got, from this midweek game where he came off the bench and he scored a brace? Is he going to say to himself, right, I'm gonna work as hard as I can to see how good of a player I am, or is he gonna just go back into, why is everybody always picking on me? I'm not that fat, and I can still score goals, but I'm not getting a chance.
And that's a definite. He's definitely a kid that got bit by the stupid bug. I wonder what goes on in his head because he has such a world of talent, but he is such an immature kid. It's like when you have two different coaches or managers saying, look, you need to grow the fuck up. Yep. You need to grow up. And it's like, with him, it's like, okay, well, I'll show you, and then he'll have a game where he scores a couple goals. And then it's like, oh, okay, I showed them, see, I can play. And then it's like, okay, well, then where's the consistency? And he doesn't follow up with that. And that's kind of like the worry. If you bring someone back like that, well, he only be an erratic scorer in patches because he feels like he has to, prove himself to somebody. I don't know. I like what he did against Barca. I wouldn't be upset if he didn't come back and he, wasn't the guy.
Well,
did great. I'd support him as long as he didn't start turning into like a little baby and shit.
I'd be disappointed for him, because, listen, so many players would kill to have that much raw ability and talent and fight like hell to make the most of it, and that's disappointing that it seems to be going to waste at this point. I'm hopeful that he turns it around, but I'd also be disappointed from the loss of an opportunity for Celtic, bringing through, a largely homegrown player. Obviously, we bought him from Airdrie a couple of years ago, but, he spent some time in our youth system and he's come through and he's a huge Celtic fan by all accounts. Again, the opportunity that he has that so many people would kill for, and just to let it go, is certainly a huge negative for himself and as well as Celtic. So I'm just so hopeful that he can turn it around and become not a cautionary tale but an example for other young players of not dropping your head if you run into some adversity, and you can turn it around. I firmly believe he can, but like I said, it really does come straight down to him and what he's going to do.
Court, man.
Yeah.
Court.
Let's look at the January window coming up just now. It's going to be imperative, not just, we're spending so much time talking about bringing in a striker, and obviously that's one of our biggest needs at the moment, but looking ahead, let's try and think about this from the standpoint of not making the mistakes that we've made in the past, and specifically with Hooper and replacing Hooper. We were put in a position last summer where we had to replace Hooper at such a quick turnaround time that maybe we didn't have our ducks in a row. Maybe we didn't quite have the time and the clairvoyance to be able to, scout enough players to be able to bring in somebody of quality. Right. We're looking square at losing two of our and maybe even more of our better players. I mean, Ledley and Sammy are gone. I think that we have good replacements and good players that can step into those roles. But specifically Van Dijk, I don't think it's without the realm of possibility that he could be gone in the summer, and that's a huge aspect of our team that needs replacing. We can't take a step back and go in for another Mastorovic. We need to have somebody lined up, not just in the summer window, but even in January. Somebody from one of these Scandinavian leagues of merit that perhaps we can pick up somebody on a Bosman or somebody for a reasonable transfer fee that can replace Van Dijk. Because even at the moment, we don't really have much cover at center half. I mean, you look to our junior team, our development squads, and Fraser's been just riddled with injuries. You have Jackson Irvin, who it's a bit uncertain as to what his future is going to be. Maybe going to another SPL club, although I think he's got loads of talent. I think that's a huge need for us at the moment, and especially, I mean, for all of the criticism that Fraser Forster's come under, in this fall, and I certainly feel that he's not making the development that I was hoping he'd make, continuing to develop. He's still a great keeper, but he still does have some shortcomings. But nonetheless, he's getting those England caps. He's getting more exposure now, and there are going to be clubs that are going to come calling for him. It's quite likely that we could lose Van Dijk and Forster as well. So I think goalkeeper and center half are definitely going to be musts for us in this January window. But specifically with striker, let's get back to this. Finn Bogason, which, listen, both you and I have been huge fans of Finn Bogason. Throughout the summer, I think was a huge opportunity that was missed, not getting him, not shelling out the extra, £750,000 that I think certainly would have paid dividends. I think would have carried us into the last 16 or at least the Europa League. But right. It seems as though Finn Bogason's going to Ajax at this moment. Aaron Johansson is another interesting player that it's rumored that Neil Lennon is also looking at. Your thoughts there?
Well, I don't know that Ajax Finn Bogason thing's a done deal by any stretch. And that rumor really started.
He's holding out hope.
Now, of course I am. And I mean, that rumor came out when he was in Dubai with friggin' Johansson playing golf.
Keep the faith, Yomp. Keep the faith.
Come on, man. Does that sound like a Hun fable or something? Seriously? I mean, come on. It's like, he's with Ajax, just the team that you guys absolutely fucking hate these days.
They are Dutch.
I mean, come on. His club, Heerenveen, I believe is how it's pronounced for Finn Bogason. They didn't seem like a club that was overly anxious to part with him during the last transfer window.
And
they had a
rightfully
set
so.
number in mind, and if anybody wasn't getting near it, they were certainly not moving him.
Yeah.
Same thing applies again. They're going to wait till the last minute at the end of the January transfer window to get rid of the guy, to max out the dollars that they can, or the money, the euros, pounds, whatever you want to call it, that they can get for the guy. It makes good business sense. That club doesn't seem like its CEO is an idiot. He seems like a guy who knows how to play the game. Mm-hmm. Put teams against other teams, talked up Lazio, talked up Ajax, talked up Villarreal. Again, I don't think anything gets done for Finn Bogason until the end of the January transfer window. I think that Ajax thing is a joke. Mm-hmm. Johansson, he plays for, AZ Alkmaar. Would love to see him play for Celtic. He'd be my fallback if we didn't get Finn Bogason.
Agreed.
Again, a little bit of a different type player. I think Finn Bogason is more of a skill guy, speed skill guy, whereas Johansson does, as you said, better with space. Mm-hmm. I think that's definitely a deal that can get done, and I think that everybody was ready to jump on the bandwagon and say, Lenny's. He's circling the wagons back to go see Finn Bogason again. And nobody really gave it much thought about until later about, maybe that wasn't the only person that he was there to see, or maybe he wasn't Finn Bogason, knowing the amount of money that he would cost, wasn't the primary focus of why Lenny was there. Mm. Keep in mind, if John Park's already seen Finn Bogason twice, there's no need to really go see Finn Bogason a third time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, and it's my particular take that John Park doesn't rate Finn Bogason for whatever reason. I'm under the impression that strikers are there to score goals, and Finn Bogason scores them by the bucket load. But what do I know?
I mean, look, man. Yeah, Then Park said he wasn't a 5 million pound guy. It was just that almost sounded like someone else was like speaking for him. That I didn't know John Park was a finance guy, but that's fine. He can say what he wants, but the guy only leads Eredivisie in scoring. Van Bogason only set a Heerenveen club or tied a Heerenveen club record for goals in one full year. You can knock the league. You can knock whether or not you think he's worth the money, but all Van Bogason does is score goals. That's the kind of guy you need to replace a Hooper. But they don't come 20 cents on the dollar. You got to fucking pay some money. And that always seems to be the issue when it comes to Peter Lawwell, the PLC, and getting the right guys instead of throwing shit at the wall approach, getting 3 guys and hoping one of them fucking sticks.
Right, exactly. And my whole beef with the entire approach was really, what are we in it for? Like, what are we? I mean, are we just, in this to make a profit on a player? Or are we in this to advance, Celtic as a team? Okay, we made it to the last 16 last year. That was well above, what our expectations were and certainly what anybody expected of us. But are we now going to, improve our standing and give ourselves more opportunities to get to the last 16 where, maybe that's going to become more of an expectation? Or are we going to continue on, paying £2 million for a Pookie because he costs £2 million and hoping that he comes good, so that we can make more of a profit and, just going right back to where we were a couple of years ago? Because that's essentially what we've done. We've regressed back to a point where even 2 years ago, we still had Hooper. We still had a 20 to 30 goal scorer. We don't have anybody in the side that's going to do that just now. I mean, maybe Commons, he's not a striker.
Not at all. He's we've said it a million times. He's the guy who should be setting the table for the strikers. Yeah. I mean, you need a guy who's going to be a center forward there. That's going to be like, hey, you can have him hovering around the net and scoring goals, and that's what guys like Finn Bogason and even guys like Johansson do. The whole approach of what they did with the Balde, Pookie, Bo Richter thing, and Bo Richter got a massive pass today because once again he wasn't fucking able to be in the lineup again. And you throw £10 million at 3 guys, and one guy can't get more than 2 minutes a game. One guy was totally fucking miscast as a striker, and his old German club found that out. And you got Bo Richter who can't be healthy. That £10 million could have been better spent on getting a fucking proven guy.
Exactly, and the criteria for spending could have been different, where instead of getting 3 or 4 players, and hoping something sticks, focus that money on 2 players of quality.
It'd be nice to see an Icelandic duo leading the charge for Celtic back to where we should rightfully be in the Champions League, as opposed to fucking being bounced even out of Europa by the likes of a scummy club like Ajax.
We will sprinkle volcanic ash all over the east end of Glasgow.
And then to get back into bed with them and fucking get into a Christmas tournament? Are you kidding me, dude?
And shaft the supporters in the process. So many people spent, £1,000, by one account of, bringing 8 people up to watch the Kilmarnock game, and then the club cancels the tie or postpones the tie a month beforehand. That's incredibly poor. And then the rationale is, we need a rest. So by resting, now we're going to go to Turkey and play in this, glorified preseason tournament. Trying to bring in money. Is that your idea of rest? We have to rest, so we're going to fly 6 hours to play, 3 games over a course of a weekend? Please, it's disingenuous at best.
And that's not idle moaning. That's just another in a long litany of ways that the PLC has been fan unfriendly, and it's showing in the attendance at Celtic Park.
Exactly, it's not moaning; it's the facts, and the facts are the fans come second, as is the standard operating procedure for this board. I'm sick of it, frankly.
That being said, I have hope. I have optimism that the PLC will see the light. I doubt it, but I'm ever the optimist on this point that they'll go into the January transfer window and say, holy fuck, we are losing people coming out to our matches left and right and spending game day money. We need to do something to put some asses in the seat, or else we're going to be in fucking big time trouble.
Yampy, I love you. You're ever the optimist. Keep the faith, Yampy. But you know what? Listen, there's too many excuses that are being thrown out at this moment for why this is taking place. We heard Neil Lennon even, talking about, it's the Christmas season and, we're on an unbeaten run and et cetera, et cetera. It's all these excuses and tiptoeing around. We even saw an article midweek talking about the lack of Rangers being, the catalyst for low attendances. I'm sorry, that had fuck all to do with it. We didn't have Rangers last year, and the attendances weren't an issue. There is a huge issue. It's the 800-pound gorilla in the room, and nobody wants to talk about it. Or if somebody brings it up, it's immediately dismissed because it includes having accountability for the board's misdeeds.
Yeah, and everything begins and ends with the PLC and the way they treat the fans, between the cost of going to a match on game day, the way they treat them over stupid little fucking things. When like we go to sing a song or something and you have 20 attendants come running over because they got to see what the fuck you're singing. I mean, you see, and it is such a seemingly fan unfriendly vibe you get from these people. And at some point, the light has to click on, man. You have to sit there and say, we're not going about this the right way.
Yeah.
We need to, hiring a face painter or building a fucking bar doesn't mean you're fan friendly, man.
Yep. You speak sense. You speak sense, Yampy.
That's you know what starts to make fan friendly? Look, start paying your fucking people a living wage. Start doing things that show that you give a shit about people besides your own fucking pockets. That shows fan friendly. You want to do something? Cut the prices of fucking season ticket books even further than you did.
Yampy, listen. You speak all the sense in the world, and don't let Dr. J talk to you about all this. I'm a business owner bullshit. It's nonsense. All right, I'm with you. I'm a business person. I have a marketing degree. Okay, I know how this works, and I know about manageable debt, having manageable debt on your books so that you can continue to grow. I know what a cash cow is, and I know what a black hole is. And right now, we're cash cowing Celtic into a black hole. That's all it is. We're trying to squeeze as many shillings and pence and quid and bob out of Celtic as we possibly can, and by we I mean the PLC. Instead of nourishing the squad with reinvestment, with goodwill to the supporters, enhancing the match day experience, instead of harassing people and giving details to the police so they can harass you on a completely illegitimate piece of legislation, which, by the way, the PLC had a hand in writing. They can talk to you all they want about how they oppose it. After the shame game, they were as elemental in the development of this law as anybody. Then do your research if you don't believe me.
Right, and it's like, not for nothing, you put in all that peripheral stuff, and then you sit there and say that we have a way we do business. This is the product, like it or lump it. People want to sit there and say we're going to pay fucking, and money's tight everywhere, man.
Exactly.
You're going to pay hard fucking earned money to go see fucking Sammy kind of like go 90 minutes of just meandering around the park.
It's not a strategy for growth, no question about it. And you put it exactly right. It's like it or lump it, and people are making their decisions, and the board and whoever can deflect and cast all sorts of rationale and reason, and the media can say that it's the lack of Huns, but it's a recipe for, unfortunately, in my opinion, a decline. And that's why I'm so upset. That's why I complain. That's why I moan. Because I want to see a plan and a trajectory going forward that's going to be positive. I want to see this team get better. I want to see this team not just try and scratch and claw our way to being relevant on a European scale. I want us to be a stalwart of European relevance. And this strategy is everything that they're doing at this point is going the opposite direction of making that possible. And that's where my frustration lies.
You can't sit there and kind of like slag fans and say like, oh, well, they're not true Celtic fans if they don't show up and buy the season ticket book and everything.
That's nonsense.
Because it's like, people got kids to feed, man. You got bills to pay. Let's deal in the fucking reality of the situation for a second, motherfucker. I ain't Lowell. I got I don't have $1 million pension. I'm a dude that fucking loves my club, but then you gotta sit there and weigh that against oh, well, ticket prices go up. I'm going to deal with getting harassed and possibly arrested. Or do I feed my fucking kids?
Yeah.
What are my options here, man? Are you going to give me a totally unpalatable fucking product on the pitch? So you're basically shoveling a pound of shit down my throat and saying that I'm a bad person if I don't pay the fucking money?
Get him, Yomp.
No, that's the fucking reality of it, man.
Get him.
I can sit here in beautiful, scenic fucking South Jersey, and I noticed you didn't ask me how things looked outside my window, unlike the dock.
I'm only 100 miles away. I know exactly what it looks like. It's raining.
It's raining and fucking miserable. But, you know, you can relate to the fan, man. You can relate to the fan. Don't make me fucking make choices like that. Put something out there. Give me a fucking reason to sit there and say, you know what? I don't mind giving you my fucking hard-earned money, even though I know that it's blood money, even though you're charging me twice as much as I should for a shitty pie and a fucking drink.
And I don't feel like you're taking advantage of me.
Yeah, give me a reason that I don't feel like you're fucking me.
Get him, Yomp.
And you know what? The law's ballsy enough. He's like, I'm not going to give you a reason. I'm going to say that basically your behavior is like it. I think you're an asshole, but I still want your money because if not, then you're not a true fan. And you know what? When you start pulling that shit with the fans, that's when fans are like, you know what? You're not insulting my fucking intelligence, asshole. You're not going to take my fucking hard-earned money. I'm just going to walk away. I will walk away. We busted on a fucking Hans about walking away. You know what? There's some reality to this. You got to sit there and say, I got to do what's right for me. I'm not going to be treated like a shithead. I have other things to attend to. And when people like Peter Law will go to fuck away, and when the other members of the PLC that have created this fucking shitstorm of unfriendly nonsense, when they go to fuck away, that's when you'll start seeing more and more fans coming to fuck back. Because who needs it?
Hey, those driveways are not going to heat themselves, Yomp.
Who the fuck has a heated driveway? Am I on fucking Mars here? I never even heard of some shit like that.
Well,
What the fuck is he heating? He's got coils under his driveway?
Well, you know. Look, when you got £1 million, what the hell are you going to spend it on? There's only so many cars you can buy.
Jesus Christ, it must be nice, man.
Listen, Yompi, you know, listen, we're talking about this as advocates for people over there. We can't even go to the games, you know, and it's so frustrating for us, you know, sitting in our homes or going to the CSCs over here and watching it happen. I mean, you know, it's something that we feel is wrong. We need to speak out about. You know, I mean, I know the Rev's doing bong hits right now, but, you know.
Someone tap Rev with a stick to make sure he's alive.
Listen, what we're doing, he's there. Look at him. Well, look at the Rev. He's just bald.
Come on, guys.
Listen, but we're you know, we do what we can. And speaking of which, we got a big weekend coming up in about 3 weeks. Yampi, I mean, you got to be as excited as anybody for this coming, you know, really to your back door. A lot of people are coming in. I know some of the New York people. I know Chaz from the Bronx was down in Philly today. Hopefully he's going to be back on the 18th. You know, I'm thinking hopefully maybe some of the Boston guys, maybe some of the Cleveland guys can come to Philly. I'm going to be there. It's shaping up to be a great weekend.
It really seems like it's going to be a great time. We got, again, like Doc's supposed to be coming up for that. I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of people, meeting a lot of people. Whenever you combine my two favorite words, Philly and Celtic, it always makes me feel like really like amped up. It's going to be a great time. I know it's probably like John Joe and Seamus and all them getting everything sorted out, and they have an itinerary, and it's supposed to be a really fantastic time. And they never disappoint. When they set up the stuff for the Real Madrid thing with, you know, again, the whole Celtic friendly, you know, last year, they went above and beyond. Mm-hmm. They really did. Yep. So I expect nothing less this time around, too. I'm totally hyped.
Yeah, Plowboys CSC right there on 2th Street in Philly.
How did they get the Lenny Mobile turned around today, man, outside Plow? How fucking crazy was that?
You know why? You know why? Because you know, listen, the authorities, the law enforcement over here, as you know, and anybody that came to Philly during that Real Madrid weekend know, the authorities, the cops, we are all Fenians.
The authorities weren't worrying me, man. That's a fucking heavy travel road, man. You get a SEPTA bus, and those motherfuckers don't stop for anybody.
It's 7:15 in the morning, Yomp. I mean, you know, everybody. Listen, I lived in Old City for 6 years. Okay, 7:15 on Sunday, everybody's asleep.
Dude, they're lucky the Lenny Mobile didn't get T-boned all the way down to the Famine Memorial. Man.
Everybody, listen, 7:15 in the morning, everybody just went to bed.
That's definitely a fun part of town, and God bless them guys getting up so early to tear it up, man. I made it up just in time this morning. It was like 7:15. They were already going through like how they do on the Fox Soccer channel with the
Soccer.
Where they do the little Euro clips from like 15 years ago.
Yes, it's the best. They always play that. They always play that Pedro Mendes goal that he bounced off the guy's ass and just ducked under. For the Huns, that's prolific. That's quality. That's technique.
I always hope they show the Darshville clip when he like kicked his shoe into the crowd and everything from like 2 yards out trying to score.
It's quality production over here, Yomp.
Yeah.
But Plowboy CSC, you can follow them on Twitter for any sort of details. If you're here in North America, make a point. Come out January 18th. It's gonna be absolutely massive. We got two CSCs in Philly. Philly is indeed green and white. Let's talk a little birds here. Let's talk, and I'm not talking about birds. I'm talking about birds. Philadelphia Eagles. Cowboys tonight, Dallas Cowboys, America's Huns. If you are inclined to support a team in green and white going up against an evil empire that is built on a team wearing blue, this is the game for you. It's going to be, I believe it's kickoff is 1:30 in the morning there in Glasgow. So if you had any intentions on working tomorrow, throw them out the door and get this game on. What are your thoughts for this game? It's absolutely huge, Yampy. No Tony Romo, which for me, I'm a little bit disappointed about. Tony Romo is always good for a fourth quarter interception, making bad decisions. I'm not so sure. This Kyle Orton deal, they might dummy it down, and I'm having reflections back to the Vikings. Talk me off the ledge.
I'm going to absolutely enjoy seeing that drunk-ass redneck fucking backup for the Cowboys get his Duck Dynasty ass kicked. Absolutely. They're going to beat the fucking brakes off that boy from pillar to post, man. Kyle Orton. Did you see the Twitter pictures of him with the fucking Jack Daniels and people passed out, like taking pictures on him, passed out in bed and everything? I said, how much of a fucking loser can that dude be? And Jerry Jones paid that guy $5 million up front as a signing bonus. We're going to beat his fucking ass tonight, man.
Well, listen, it's not like, they're not stocked at that position. I mean, they just signed John Kitna. I mean, he's 51 years old, and he's ready to go.
He's about 300 pounds. He was doing algebra lesson plans last week, and now they're like, oh, we need to fucking be a quarterback for us.
He's going to need the Pythagorean theorem if he's going up against us tonight.
You better run, Forrest, run, because he's going to get his ass beat, too.
A plus B equals...
My only concern is that this is a big fucking venue, and it's going to be packed.
100,000 screaming rednecks.
That stadium holds 100,000 people, and every seat will be accounted for. It is as big time gets. I wish to God they were playing it at the link.
Oh, that'd be amazing. But you know what? We do have a good history. 2009 aside. I mean, if you go back to 2008, when it was 44-6. Actually, that was actually at the link. So hopefully Nick Foles can exercise some of the ghosts. I'm on the Nick Foles bandwagon. I have been for several weeks now. I think that's our quarterback of the future, and LaShawn McCoy at running back is absolutely phenomenal. The big question is going to be, is our defense going to step up this time? Are we going to have another Minnesota-type performance where we give up, huge gains on the ground? I would think that Chip Kelly's going to try and game plan that, pack the box and force Kyle Orton to beat us, out wide, and Des Bryant's struggling with an injury. So, our safeties and our corners are going to have a huge game, stack the box, stop DeMarcus Murray, and I think we'll be good. What's your prediction scoreline?
I think I'm never good with predictions and everything, but the Birds are definitely ready for this one. They game planned out Orton. It's real simple. His game, he's slow as fuck. They're going to do two things with him. They're going to let him hand the ball off to DeMarco Murray about 30 times, or they're going to have him throw these little skinny post dump passes and stuff. Either way, they're not going to let Orton sit back in the pocket and try to throw long passes. So the Birds will be up front and try to, man up and bust everything up at the line of scrimmage, like you said. Sell out to the run, whoop on him a little bit in the pocket. I'm thinking it's going to be a Birds blowout. I think we're going to whoop on him pretty damn good, like 37-6.
I think the key is going to be jumping out to one of those early leads like we do, like we saw last week against the Bears. If we can get out, to a 14-0, maybe 21-0 at halftime, something like that, and just, do everything we can to take that crowd out of the game and to drop those heads. I think it's a dysfunctional team, the Cowboys, at the moment. I don't think they have any sort of core leadership that's really going to rise everybody up. I think that Romo was trying his best, but there's only so much you can do with a lot of the character flaws that they have, not just on the offensive side, but as well as the D. If we can demoralize them early on, I think it's going to be smooth sailing. But as I mentioned, we need to stop the run, and we need to make sure that we're making it as difficult as possible for Kyle Orton. If we can put him under pressure, force him into bad decisions, and then keep it clean with special teams, that's a shortcoming for us at certain points. But if we can get by and we can have a resounding win, like you're describing and like I'm hoping for, I'm not scared of any team in the NFC at this point. I would not be surprised to see this team get to the Super Bowl. Laugh all you want, but who's going to step up?
But here's the thing, again, to kind of make a correlation, this is like, you said this is like an old Glasgow Derby. I'm just hoping this isn't like, us and Morton.
Yeah.
The longer
Exactly.
you keep a shitty team around, the more hope that you give them that they can compete. You got to, and you're totally on point, you got to take 100,000 people out of the game nice and early, because the longer this goes, the more jacked the fuck up they're going to be, and it's going to be harder and harder to take it late. You want to settle this thing early and just cruise. I know the Birds can do it. It's just a matter of, Foles. Everybody's nervous because Foles had his worst game against the boys, the Cowboys. Never fucking calling them the boys because I always think of Celtic. If he comes out there and they get up 2 touchdowns on him, this thing's going to be, it's going to be dead early.
Yeah,
I think we have the win in us. If you lose to a team like this with a drunk for a quarterback and an algebra teacher for a backup, then you don't deserve to fucking win the division.
That's
anyway.
it. I agree completely. I think everything's there. They just need to go out. They need to play like they know they can play. And, this is a young team that's starting to believe in itself. They're carrying a bit of momentum. And if we can keep that going, this could be dangerous going through the playoffs. Yampy, great stuff today. Thanks so much for calling in, pal. And great work, again, on the Astroskiers audio book. For those listening in, if you haven't gotten it yet, go to the astroskiers.com. It's £4.99, I believe. And you can take it everywhere you want to go with you. You can hear the great Yampy talk very passionately about the topics that Paul covers, and the build up and the cheating of the David Murray regime and how it came crashing down. Oh, I love a happy ending. Yampy,
let me just say congrats to Doc too on his anniversary,
yes,
or wedding, and his honeymoon.
Yes,
all that.
Yeah. He's a business owner. He knows how to run a business, and now he's married. So hopefully he can give us a lesson in manageable debt and debt to turnover ratios and stuff like that. Because
I don't want a lesson. Spend the fucking money. Get a store and sick and fucking nickel and dime baldy bullshit. Let's get a fucking store.
Great stuff.
Hell, fellas.
Great stuff, Yampy.
Later.
Be good.
Later,
Go Birds. Go Birds. All right. That's Yampy. Yampy is always good for a soundbite or 6 or 12. Nothing from the Rev.
I agree.
What's the deal with your Giants?
Play the Redskins. Race to the bottom.
That's always a plus. If we can keep Eli... Listen, if Eli can keep his shirt clean and he doesn't throw any of the interceptions that he so seemingly adores doing this season, then you guys have a good shot. But it'll be interesting. I'm going to be watching the Ravens because they have a lot to play for, obviously. And then the Bears and the Packers at 4 o'clock local time. Just add 5 if you're over in the UK. And that'll be the time that you can watch it. Huge game there. The winner of the game goes to the playoffs. The loser goes home. And then, of course, the daddy of them all, Eagles, Cowboys, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time.
I don't see either. Whoever wins, I honestly don't see him getting far in the playoffs.
You're a hater.
No, I'm being totally serious. NFC East sucks for the last 2-3 years.
You've been watching New York's blue and white too long. Well, let me get your thoughts here. You're unbiased to a certain extent party in this. You probably hate the Eagles and the Cowboys just as much as each other. What's your pick tonight?
I was told not to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm voting for Al Qaeda. Just step in there, take everybody out.
That's really fucked up.
No, I don't know. I honestly, I guess, no, because I'm not going to give you the fucking satisfaction. I'm going to have to pick the No, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'm not even going to watch. I don't care.
Look at you. You're conflicted. This goes back to, you can't even make a decision.
Nope.
You have no shame, Rev. This goes back to the whole, like, what if Red Bulls played against Celtic? Who would you root for?
No, that's not true.
Yes, it is.
I gave an honest opinion.
Take a stand. Grow some balls. Make a decision.
Same thing. No,
and I'll listen. Make a decision. And I'll live with it. Do it. Eagles or Cowboys? Eagles or Cowboys?
Those words are coming out.
Yes or no? Eagles or
Nope.
Cowboys? Do it now, or you don't even have a hair on your ass.
Nope.
Do it.
Shave my ass. Nope.
No balls. You have no balls. All right.
I honestly, I can't give a thing.
You know what? No answer means the Eagles.
Do the Cowboys really have anything going for them? No, but Philly's known to choke as well. So
Make a decision.
There's no decision to make because it's just.
Yes, there is. Someone has to win tonight. Who do you think is going to win? I'm asking a very simple question. You have two options.
I'm not qualified to make that thing because
I'm tending to agree with you.
Okay, but either way,
just do it.
Whichever team. Wins,
I listen, Rev. I just gave you $100. I give you $100. You got to bet it on one team or the other. Who are you putting your $100 on? It's not your $100. It's mine. Who are you betting it on?
I'll put 50 on both teams.
Oh, you're such a prick. Unbelievable. You have no balls, and now everybody knows it.
That's fine.
All right. Listen. Happy New Year to you, Rev.
To you as well.
2013 was an interesting year. Very very interesting. I went to Scotland twice in a calendar year. And what was your moment of 2013 for Celtic? Just real quick, just off the top of your head.
I didn't even think about that.
What's your biggest moment this year? And I'll throw it out to the listeners as well. Send us a tweet at BTW Celtic Show with your best moment of 2013.
Crap, I don't even know. I guess just going down to Philly for the Cup final.
That was a good day. But in terms of Celtic, their achievements, the best game.
Well,
would you say the Cup final? It was a pretty good game. They came out, they did well. They were playing against an upstart Hibs team at the time who put some results together. I mean, remember in the run-in, we were saying, we can't take this team lightly. And, we dominated them.
No, what was the score? Do you remember? I want to say it was 4?
4-0.
4-0, yeah.
That was a good one.
That was a good game. It was a good day, good game. I mean, did we have better, higher scoring games, but nothing memorable, nothing really coming to my mind. I mean, the game on the first 4 weeks ago, 7-0, and with that being the wedding and everything.
That was a good one.
Not really, watching.
You didn't watch it because you were too busy flashing people with your kilt.
Yeah, it happens. But I mean, just that, if you want to tie that into the day.
I'm going to go Carragandi at home.
That's a good shout, yeah.
I mean, who was expecting us to come out and lay 3-0? After we completely laid an egg, we were totally non-convincing in our SPL game running into it. And
then
Jamesy,
the way we finished, yeah.
Jamesy comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's a good one, yeah.
I'm going to go Carragandi. Get us into the group stages and completely destroying any shot that we ever had of buying a decent striker.
Well, hopefully we're not going to get a lazy transfer window. I mean, I want to see some moves, but I want to see some smart moves. I mean, we haven't really had a good winter transfer window in a few years. I mean,
we brought in Lustig a couple years ago. I thought that was huge.
Oh, that's right. He was winter. Yeah. Okay.
Thought that was huge.
And Commons, I think, were our only good winter transfer window signings in a while.
Commons was huge.
When you match him up with Freddie Youngberg,
Freddie who?
Exactly.
Freddie Youngberg. Is he like a jeweler up in New York?
He's an underwear model. Have you heard of him?
Oh, Freddie Lumberg.
Yeah, Youngberg.
Rev, what are we going to do with you? 2014, looking ahead. What are your goals? What are your aspirations for Celtic? What do you want from this team to achieve? I mean, like just a dream.
I'd like to see them do the double again.
Definitely.
This year.
Got to win the double.
Because we're out of the League Cup.
Yes.
Okay.
So no trouble.
Yeah.
No trouble for you.
No trouble. Get the double. Would that be 3 years in a row or just 2 years in a row that we'd get the double?
That would be 2 years in a row?
2 years, yeah, we didn't get that. Okay. Yeah, so that, do that, and like I said, some signings that make you feel confident and good, over the next month.
And getting back to the group stages, I mean, it's certainly not going to be easy. As this past summer evidenced, then I think that we're probably in a weaker position.
Oh, you mean going all the way into...
yeah, man, 2014.
Calendar year 2014. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a must, I'm hoping, I don't know the ins and outs with UEFA and the Champions League and everything, but I'm hoping that after the last couple years, Scotland's coefficient has been bumped up a little bit, so we don't have to play these friggin', fifth round qualifiers.
Probably not. Given by the fact that it's just us that's getting into any sort of European competition past the qualifiers, we're probably doomed to be playing these repetitive qualifiers over and over again, unfortunately. But
I'd like to see them come back to the States. Might be, a bit of a stretch, but
that'd be nice, to see them come back. It's a bit tight given the fact that these qualifiers go back into July, so.
Right.
It's a bit uncertain as to when they could come. I mean, maybe do one of these, middle of August deals, switch a fixture around so they could accommodate it. It would be nice, but sadly, I don't see it happening.
No. I mean, we have a better chance, if that's the way, with playing these early qualifiers, we have a better chance of that happening than them going to, like, Australia, for example. I mean, I'd like to see them go around the world and play, sure. in former colonial countries,
former colonial,
to pick up the thing.
Mm-hmm.
But because if they did something like that every summer and traded off, Australia one year, U.S. the next year, and just go round robin like that, I'd love that. I think that'd be great. Maybe stick in a random country along the way, like when they play here, hit up Canada, or when they play over there, I don't know, go to Japan or something like that. But no, yeah, with I don't see them doing like a mid-August, like you said, push back, like right after the league starts, drop a game in the SPL and then go all the way to Australia and then fly all the way back home.
Yeah, so. Australia's a bit far, but I mean, let's be honest. If we're rescheduling fixtures in the middle of the winter to fly 6 hours to Turkey to have a quote-unquote rest, what's stopping us from flying 6 hours to America in the middle of August to have a quote-unquote rest?
Well, in Turkey, I'm sure they're going to have
pyro.
Have jerseys there to sell.
Pyro.
Not so much here.
Loads of pyro in Turkey.
Yeah.
And Ajax.
They'll have fun with that.
Well, I'm hopeful. Like you said, we do the double, and getting back into the group stages is an absolute must. And I agree with your sentiment that we can build a new core and a new nucleus through the spine, really. I think that Baton is showing a lot of promise. We haven't really seen much of Rogic, and unfortunately I'm seeing him as just destined to be loaned out. Hopefully that's not the case, and hopefully he can flourish, because I do think there's a player there, but it just seems like he's not getting the benefit of fortune with injuries and selections and things like that. But Baton seems to be taking his opportunity when he gets it, and I'm hopeful that he's going to get more opportunities to continue to thrive and flourish.
He's been a surprise to me. I didn't really think he was going to pan out when he first came here.
I told you different.
You
need to listen to me.
I'm happily, I'm glad that I'm wrong, or at least it looks like I'm going to be wrong.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I obviously, I think everybody would like us to supplement the spine with a striker of note, of quality.
That is the spine.
I think I think that's minimum requirements. So it's going to be an interesting year coming up. And I quite frankly, I think that it's a good time to take stock of where we are. I think we're at a crossroads. I think that with some smart investment in the side and not being so obsessed with having zero debt because God forbid we'll wind up like the Huns, even though there's no possibility of that ever happening. I would like to see some smart investment into the side so that the team can continue to progress, not just in Scotland, but throughout Europe. But there also is the danger that, we continue to be bogged down by this unnecessary economy of investment, lack of investment, and we could go the other direction. And it's concerning. But listen, if Yampi's faithful in it, then I'm faithful in it, because we're from Philadelphia and we fight.
Let me ask you this: what are your thoughts on remaining undefeated? How far do you think we can carry that?
We will never be defeated while Ireland has such sons. Oh, well, I was not going to like that. Yeah, I think that it would be a great achievement. Obviously, it's going to go down in the history books. I mean, so few teams have gone undefeated throughout an entire season. Some teams have gone undefeated throughout the season and didn't win the league. So we're running away with it here. And I think it would be a tremendous achievement. It's a great goal to shoot for, whatever can keep the players motivated. But I still think that we can't lose sight of the fact that these cup games mean an awful lot as well.
That was my follow-up. Would you sacrifice, say we get to like April, would you sacrifice a league game?
Absolutely.
Like, we're still undefeated all the way to like into the last 5 games of the year. Would you sacrifice a game for like the semifinal?
Absolutely, Rev. They don't give out trophies for undefeated. This isn't the MLS. There's no supporter shield in Scotland.
No, but
you know what the supporter shield? The supporter shield is a jockstrap in Scotland. They don't give out trophies for that.
I know. Well,
I want silver.
That's the main trophy.
I want silver. I want silver and gold and medals. They don't give out. Listen, anything that they don't give out medals for, I don't care.
Okay.
I want medals. What do you would you want? Would you prefer to go undefeated than win the Scottish Cup again?
I wouldn't go quite so far and say that.
You're going to get hate mail.
That's an interesting predicament because
you're going to get hate mail.
I'd bring it. Okay. We know we're going to win the league. Like, we're how many points up and like a friggin' 24-point goal differential. Like, it's not going to, we got it.
Throw out the U17s, man. I don't care.
Yeah.
And you know what? The U17s will probably whoop up on some of these teams.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we should always absolutely play our strongest thing. We should, put in some kids that, give them some time, get them hungry. But, that's just, that's a bit more of a extra caveat of a bragging right. They
don't give out medals for bragging rights. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care. You know what? Get in line. Everybody hates me. I don't care. I don't care. I say what I think, and I think what I say.
No, yeah. Scottish Cup's nice.
It's more than nice. Because it cheers us up when we know the Scottish Cup is coming home to Rest of Paradise. Because it's nice. More than nice. What's the matter with you, Rev?
Nothing.
All right.
I'm just bringing up different, different
I
points
got
of view
you.
here.
I got you. Little devil's advocate for the Devils fan. All right, Rev. Good stuff. Good way to cap off the year. Got a midweek game against Partick Thistle.
Do we?
Glasgow Partick Thistle.
Oh, yeah.
So, we'll be looking forward to that, and hopefully we can see some of these young kids.
And just so everybody knows, the glorious benefactors at the club are providing free coaches to that game if anyone wants to just basically stand in line and, sign up for subjugation, I'm sure.
Yay! Well, that's fantastic.
That just sounds like a bad idea written all over it.
Can somebody say stitch up?
Yeah.
All right, Rev, listen. Enjoy the rest of your day. I know the Giants are kicking off right now, so I'll let you get back to that lovely enjoyment. And I'm going to get ready for tonight, big game. And, 3 points. What are you going to do?
Stay undefeated.
That's it. All right, listen. For Dr. J, we give Dr. J a bit of stick, but we love him to death. And congratulations to him on, his getting married in a lovely place, Maui, spreading the word of Ball Deep. Maui is Ball Deep, I'm sure, at this point. And, so he'll be in Philly in a couple weeks, so we thank him for joining us. And thank you to Yampi, bringing it, as always, from the lovely confines of South Jersey. He's asking me, why don't I ask him what it's like outside, please?
It's pouring up here.
I know what it's like. It's pouring down here. We're not that far away. Come on, cuz. But, great stuff from Yampi. And for you, Rev, great stuff.
Thank you.
Taking us out, as always, is Shane McGowan and the Pogue. Say goodbye, Rev.
Goodbye.
And that is goodbye for me. Hail, hail, and keep the faith. We'll talk to you soon.
The island, it is silent now, but the ghosts still haunt the waves. And a torch lights up a famished man who fortune could not save. Did you work upon the railroads? Did you ride the streets of crime? Were your dollars from the White House? Were they from the 5 and dime? Did the old songs start to cheer you? And did they still make you cry? Did you count the months and years? Or did your teardrops quickly dry? I know it was not to be on a coffin ship. I came here and I never even got so far that they could change my name. Thousands are sailing across the western ocean to a land of opportunity that some of them will never see. Fortune prevailing across the western ocean, their bellies full, their spirits free. They'll break the chains of poverty and they'll dance. In Manhattan's desert twilight, in the dead of afternoon, we stepped hand in hand on Broadway, like the first men on the moon. And a blackbird broke the silence as you whistled, it's so sweet. And in Brendan Behan's footsteps, I danced up and down the street. And we said goodnight to Broadway, giving it our best regards. Took our hats to Mr. Cohen, dear old Times Square's favorite bird. Then we raised a glass to JFK and a dozen more besides. When I got back to